from 0 to 100 in a nanosecond. So they're calm 1 minute, something happens, and then it's an explosion. They just can't regulate their emotions. So let me go back to childhood. Children, babies, have no natural tools to regulate emotions. They learn to regulate their emotions by having a co-regulator. And that co-regulator needs to be a person who is calm, a person who is safe, so a person who's regulated themselves. So the baby's vagus nerve, their neuroception, senses the vibes of this other person. Are they stressed out? Are they angry? Are they safe? Okay, if they're safe, they're in a calm place, then I can connect to them and regulate my own emotions. So that is where it starts. So what then does the co-regulator, the parent, do to help regulate this child? And as they regulate this child over and over again, the child begins to learn tools to regulate themselves because they're picking up from the parent the things that they do that are helping them calm down. First thing that we've come to realize about regulating emotions is, so if you look in a child in the womb, where they feel safe, where they have a secure little world, they have a rhythm that they are hearing all the time. And that's the mother's heartbeat, 60 to 80 beats a minute. And what we found is that when a child is dysregulated, an infant is dysregulated, if they can return to hearing or feeling the rhythm of 60 to 80 beats a minute, so rocking, music that has a steady rhythm, patting them on the back, all of a sudden something in the brain goes, I feel safe again, and they can calm down. So rhythm has this amazing ability to regulate emotions. And so what we have found is that for people coming out of complex trauma, when they're dysregulated, often you can't think your way to a regulated state. You gotta go bottom up. You gotta go to rhythm stuff. So walking, dancing, doodling, even cleaning has a rhythm. A back rub, a massage, music, all of that has a steady rhythm that can help regulate your emotions. And breathing can be part of that as well, because often when a child is dysregulated, they take a deep breath and shudder, and then they can regulate themselves. So rhythm is key. If a child, though, doesn't get rhythm provided for them by the parents, so the parents leave them alone, the parents get angry at them, the parents do not be a co-regulator to them, the child typically will begin to develop self-soothing activities. They will come across things that they find are helpful. So they'll suck their thumb, they'll get a blankie, they'll get a teddy bear, they'll rock in their bed. But then for some, it goes to stuff that seems to be soothing them. It has a rhythm, but it can become destructive. So they'll start banging their head. They will start hitting themselves, pulling their hair regularly. Some escape into a fantasy world. They dissociate that way. All of that seems to be soothing, but it actually becomes self-destructive. And so it becomes very important for them in recovery to learn healthy self-soothing versus unhealthy self-soothing. The other thing that happens in the child who didn't have a parent who come in to regulate them, to give them the tools to regulate, to provide the rhythm for them, is that they don't have a lot of tools to regulate their emotions. And now when they have any negative emotion, fear especially, stress, they dysregulate quickly because they have no ability to know how to handle even the early stages of stress and fear. And so that's where they go from 0 to 100 in a nanosecond. And what's so important to understand is this person can be wonderful 99% of the time. But when they get triggered and they dysregulate in adult life, that's when the damage happens in the relationship. The other thing then that we've learned regulates a child, a baby, is they're connecting to this co-regulator. So connection helps the vagus nerve, when they connect with a safe person, to become regulated. So they need connection to a safe person who's not going to judge them. Then they need the need met. So rhythm helps. Connection is vital. Then the need has to be met. When that happens, then the child is regulated. Now, beyond those don't happen, what the brain then does to regulate the child is produce chemicals, opioids. Those are designed to help the child regulate when nothing else is working. And so in extreme cases today for people in recovery, if they're so dysregulated that nothing is working, they may need medication temporarily. So let's go to what dysregulates a child. The first thing is when they have a need that's not met. So you have your vagus nerve is keeping track of all your needs in your body, physical needs, emotional needs, all your organs. So if a need is out of balance, so your internal systems are out of balance, you feel discomfort. You feel hunger, you feel thirst, you feel itch, you feel a pain, you feel a cramp. All of those things cause discomfort. Then the child cries. The child expresses that need. That's the only way they can. So the parents come, connect, figure out what the need is, meet the need, soothe the child. Everything is taken care of. So having a system that is out of balance dysregulates us. But secondly, when a child is trying to connect, which they need for survival, but they're not able to connect, then that dysregulates them greatly because now they feel all alone. Now they feel afraid. So not connecting dysregulates. The third thing is if their perception or interoception of the vagus nerve is picking up danger. So there's danger in their external world or their vibes are sensing somebody is not safe. That dysregulates the child. So if there's the potential for getting hurt, then the stress system is activated. The person becomes dysregulated because now we got to go to fight, flight to get out of here because this is not a safe situation. So as I said, emotional dysregulation comes out of a child not being able to connect, not getting their needs met, not having a co-regulator to soothe them. And so they just don't have the ability to deal with intense emotions, to regulate their own emotions. And now when they're triggered, they go nanosecond, 0 to 100, tons of damage done. That causes many people to go, I think I need help because I'm hurting those I love. And those are the only ones I'm hurting greatly. And I just can't continue to do that. But learning to regulate emotions is such an important skill. And there's so many practical tools that you can learn to do that, but there are many tools that need to be learned.